Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This might be one of the most important videos I have ever made. And if you are an aspiring therapist, maybe you're in grad school right now, or you are a new career therapist, I urge you to keep on watching because the information I'm about to share is actually something that they truly do not teach you in grad school, and that I actually just found out last week. And I have been in the field for 7 years working as an LPC, and now I am an LPCCs. So I have put in some time without knowing this knowledge, and I want you to make better decisions than I have. And I want to help guide you on this journey of what it's like to navigate this field. So if that sounds of interest to you, just keep watching. Hi, my name is Allyssa Powers, and I created this YouTube channel to teach you the things that grad school didn't so you can thrive as a mental health professional. If you like therapist-y kind of content, I would love it if you would stick around and subscribe. So this one is a big one, and I'm a little embarrassed to even say that I did not realize this, but the other day I was scrolling on Zinime's website, which is basically a private practice business blog. They have lots of resources. I was looking at one of their continuing education courses, and I saw a quote on their website that said, "Therapists and counselors are the worst paid master's degree that exists in the United States." And I thought, what the heck? But it didn't have a reference to the statistics. So I thought maybe they're being dramatic, like that's maybe they're using that to like sell something on their website. But then I went to Google and actually looked up some very legitimate statistical websites, and it's true. It's literally social work and counseling are the worst paid master's degrees out there. And I thought, what the heck? Why are we not talking about this? It's obviously well known that we're not out here making buku bucks as therapists. And the old adage is that no one goes in to become a counselor or a therapist for the money. We're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts, but also like we need to be able to provide for ourselves, our families, afford the cost of living that is just going up and up. So I was very startled by this because it takes so much time and effort to even get your master's. I went through the program pretty much as fast as I could, and it still took me 2.5 years. So they say on these websites that the master's degree for therapy and social work have the worst return on investment, and that actually many people are left in worse financial standing after going to get their master's versus before because of the cost of getting licensed, the cost of working for free as an intern, the cost of school itself and student loan debt. Take a deep breath with me. It's not all doom and gloom, but it is something that you 100% need to know. Because guess what? Universities are not going to be telling you this up front because that is not in their best interest to get people in the door, and that's just not ever brought up. In fact, when I was in grad school in, I want to say 2016 to 2018-ish, I don't know that money was ever talked about until maybe my very last semester. And I did not know how low paying this profession would be. And honestly, at the time, my cost of living was super low. I was living in a college house with my friends. I wasn't fully adulting, if that makes sense, quite yet. I was financially independent, but just not living how I'm living now, where I have a child and a house and a mortgage and all of those things. So know that if you are still in that college phase, unfortunately, life does get a lot more expensive. But I wanted to make this video not to freak you out and clickbait and scare people, because that is not my MO here on this channel. But I want to give you some very practical things to think about before you get into the field, or even if you are currently in grad school. Think about these things and let that inform your decision on if this is the right path for you. So number one is, do you have a spouse or a partner that makes a good amount of money and you are going to be able to rely on that? Now, I kind of hate even saying that, because the independent woman in me is like, okay, well, like divorce happens, people pass away. Don't rely on, especially as a woman, like don't rely on a man to provide for you or whatever. Obviously, I'm in a hetero relationship, but you will see that a lot of therapists say like, oh, I'm able to do this job at this nonprofit or this agency because my spouse has a high paying job. And that like honestly is a dagger in the heart to me, because we are so educated and informed on so many absolutely important and like life-saving things. Like think about all the people that have SI and HI and come into therapy, and we are literally saving their lives in a lot of ways. So it is a dagger in the heart to me that we even have to think that way, but we do. So number one, if you have a partner or spouse. Number two is, if you are going into the field knowing that you want to run a private practice, meaning you want to have your own business, you want to, go through and get an LLC and do the marketing and the website and all of that yourself, or outsource that and have your own little office, then I do think that is the most lucrative way to be a therapist. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you do consume other therapy related content, but sometimes we'll see, especially like therapy influencers, sharing their 6-figure income, and they're only working like, 5 hours a week with clients, but they're getting paid like $300 or $400 a session. I would not base your ideas of the field off of these influencers, because a lot of them are getting paid from promoting, other products and things. And I don't say this to hate on any of that, because if Squarespace ever came knocking down my door, I would definitely take a partnership with them. I absolutely love Squarespace, unsponsored. But just know that a lot of that is the power of social media and how lucrative that marketing can be. So those numbers are not even going to be comparable to a normal private practice. But a private practice, you can think most people in private practice are probably charging upwards of at least $100 a session if they are private pay. And even most insurances are paying around that now, except for Medicaid and Medicare. So if you want to go into private practice, you have that business mindset, it can be lucrative. That has been my path, and I have been able to provide for myself financially so far. The next thing to consider that might make this all make a little more sense for you personally is if you have a very specific niche that you want to get into. I do think there are a few types of therapy that are always going to be absolutely lucrative. One being couples therapy, because people will pay money, good money, to save their relationships. And another is working with kids, because people will put a lot of time and energy into resolving their kids' issues, working with their kids, giving their kids all the strategies. There are probably more, but I do think that there are some very specific niches, even something like sex therapy or being really trained in like neurofeedback or EMDR, things like that, that are a little more specific and take a lot of extra training to do, I know will almost always end up in higher self-paying clients. Last one is something to consider if you live outside of the United States. I am only speaking to my experience living in the Midwest. In the USA, I think that therapists are better compensated in other countries, and some are probably compensated much less, but their cost of living and their economy is just better and more sustainable. So those are the 4 things I would keep in mind when you're thinking about getting into this career. If I'm out of breath, just know, and I ate a Jolly Rancher. My mom came over in the middle of me filming, looking for her phone because she left her phone here last night when she was babysitting. We found it in the driveway underneath a leaf on 2% battery. I can't believe that happened. My son had it, so we assumed it was like under our couch cushions or something. So I'm really out of breath from having to investigate the missing iPhone, and I needed some candy. So now I'm totally distracted by my tongue. I did not think about that, but I hope that you like this video. Let me know in the comments below if this is news to you or if you already knew this. I'm sure plenty of you did, because if you're looking up resources on YouTube, you're probably doing a basic Google search of the career field that you want to get into, but I honestly didn't know that, and I don't feel like it's super advertised. So I hope that this helped. If it did, give it a like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and I will see you next time. Bye.